Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Office Hours.fm, episode 100. Matt, do you have like a buzz horn or that was actually pretty darn good. Yeah, we've made it to 100 episodes. So I'm super excited about today's episode. And as I just alluded, I've got the one, the only Matt Medeiros on the show today. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here for my 7,000th time.
You are a three-peat guest appearance here on the show. Clearly the people love you. So before we get rolling, a couple things to discuss. One is I would like to thank my sponsors for today. Actually, there's going to be a lot of sponsor love on this particular episode because I've got some cool announcements to make. But the first is web.com, their secure WordPress solution. And the second is Know the Code. I will tell you more about those things later. But in the meantime, thanks for tuning in. You can ask your questions on Twitter using the hashtag OfficeFM, or over on, if you're watching this on the Google Events page, you can use the Q&A app over there. Yeah, so let's get rolling.
I'm excited too. I'm not paying attention. I'm just tweeting all this stuff as we go.
No, I understand that you've got other things to do that are more important than come on my podcast. Whatever, Matt. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. First thing, we had a big giveaway or big giveaways going on, and I'm going to announce the winners. I'm actually going to be picking the winners here during the show. So I think we should just get cranking up straight away with one of those. So here's the giveaway, or here are the items up for grabs. We have got To the Top SEO course from Rebecca Gill over at Web Savvy Marketing, and that's like a $400 course. I'm taking it right now.
It's like a $4 million course.
It is
start making money off of it too.
I started going through it, and I called it 30 days to better SEO, and it was sort of my journey through the course. And it's now been like 2 months, and I'm on day 15. So she's probably going to kick my rear if I don't get it going. But anyways, I'm giving away a copy of that. I'm giving away a pro membership to knowthecode.io, who is also our episode sponsor today. Giving away a copy of the Utility Pro theme for the Genesis framework, the developer edition that comes with some awesome built-in developer tools. What else are we giving away? What else? There's something. Oh, an Amazon gift card. I got an Amazon gift card because who doesn't love just to go shop on Amazon? And then a little bit of officehours.fm swag, a first ever swag reveal.
Nice. That's exciting. That's exciting.
I don't know
you told me I didn't have to prepare for any of this stuff before I came on the show, and you've got all these things. I've got this shirt right here that I could give away. It's a Ben Sherman. It's an extra medium. I can mail that out to anybody who wants it.
Literally, he's willing to give you the shirt off his back. That's the kind of guy Matt Medeiros is. Okay, so here's how the things are going to work, because some people that win may already have one of these products and not necessarily need to get a second copy. So I'm going to do it first come, first serve. I'm going to pick the winners, and the first winners to email me and tell me which one of the prizes they want, that's what they get. So you guys who are listening live have the total jump on the prizes here. So give me a drum roll, please, Matt. All right, we have Gene Roth over at WroteMDesignStudio.com. Gene, you are a winner, chicken dinner.
Come on down.
Oh man, I used to love that show. Okay, Matt, I'm kind of scattered feeling today. I'm gonna be honest.
Sure.
You
get the century mark jitters.
Yeah, I got the total century mark jitters. But okay, I've just got some cool stuff to share. So we'll just get it out of the way, and then we can get to talking. So before we talk about you, Matt, I'm just going to talk a lot about myself. And
this sounds like a word camp. Jesus.
No. Okay. So I've been working with Diane Kinney for the past, 5 or 6 weeks or so to produce an ebook that is sort of the what's the collected wisdom of these past 99 episodes. And I'm super duper excited about it. Turned out Diane did a beautiful job on it. And that book was actually sponsored. Oh my gosh, the list, it's an impressive list, Matt. I mean,
it is an impressive list.
I've got people that support the show that, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I've got Jared Morris from Rainmaker Digital. I've got Lauren Mankey from Studio Press, Robbie at Beaver Builder, Ryan, WP Site Care, Corey at iThemes, Gary Jones, who we all know and love, who's been a guest on the show. And actually every single sponsor has also been a guest on the show, which is really cool. And this ebook, it is worth millions of dollars, but I'm not going to charge you a single dime. All I'm going to ask for is your email address in exchange for that. So if you want to go over to officehours.fm/subscribe, you can get a copy of that. And for everyone who's already on the email list, don't worry about resubscribing. I will just send you a link to that later this afternoon. Yeah, so cool. So Matt.
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed a new URL on your lower third there. What is that?
You might see, if you're looking at the screen right now and not just listening in the background, a new URL. It's called pluggedinradio.com. And that'll be a new podcast that I have coming out in a few weeks. As it was supposed to be by the start of May, but unfortunately, as life goes, things get in the way. But that'll be a podcast all about sort of WordPress plugin tutorials directly from the plugin authors and other guests that I bring on to the show. Slightly different material than what we do over at the Matt Report, which is primarily focused on WordPress business owners. Recently starting a WordPress meetup here at this co-working space that I'm at. And I've just even before that, people are always like, so what do? You have this podcast? What's a WordPress entrepreneur, right? Like, I don't even get it. I use WordPress, but what do you mean selling product? So I figured, hey, I can finally address these issues with another show. I can actually help people that I know here at this building, at this facility, teaching them how to use things, bringing on people that already build products for them and have them explain sort of some of the top features of their product. So it's going to be fun, I hope. Different little spin on things than the normal stuff. And all you have to do is laugh in my face. I'm out.
No, there is some serious trolling going on Twitter right now. And Brad Williams, thank you for that. I just lost my composure reading that one. And it's not safe for work, so I won't read that one. Won't read that one on the air. That is awesome. I like that you're getting a second show going, because it is. You kind of get going on a topic or headed down a path, and then you have other information you want to share, but it doesn't necessarily fit the mold of what you've been doing with Matt Report.
I just saw that too.
Yeah. Nice. Thanks, Brad. Here's the deal, and we didn't plan it, but it worked out this way. Every time you've been a guest on this show, you have launched a new product.
Yeah.
I'm sending you a sponsorship invoice.
You probably should.
The last time it was Get Julep.
Yep.
And then before that, it was Conductor plugin.
Correct.
So from one product gal or from one product person to another, can you kind of share the journey, like from a business perspective of each of those things and how this is rolled out?
Yeah, I've been trying to think of this like epic statement that I can put together because I kind of knew this question would come up on the show, even though we weren't really prepared for it. One of the things that I think that I do a lot of, so I'm hoping that this one really takes off, and I think it will. I think I can really manage this one much better than a lot of the other stuff that I've launched before. It's something that I feel like I'm really good at, and I can really do some fun stuff with content. But Pressnomics this year was sort of all about this kind of like insider mindset of a business owner and how difficult it can be when you're trying all these things and trying to hit a home run and you're hoping that you can finally hit that home run that next time you get up to bat, right? And I really feel like there's nothing that sets me apart. Like, I am no different than Corey Miller, Syed Balki, you, any other successful person in the WordPress space. Other than I haven't had a home run product yet, right? And I'm totally fine admitting that. And I'm comfortable admitting that, where I think a lot of people aren't. And to keep my spirits going, right? And to keep my confidence going, I feel like I'm not any different than the folks I mentioned. I just haven't hit that one product market fit yet to really skyrocket. I feel like we're all living this kind of stress and this kind of running a business and competing against each other in a sense. We all face the same challenges. And my motto is I just keep trying things. Like right now, pluggedinradio.com, I launched that site today, right? Like, it is just the 2015 theme with an OptinMonster logo. I spun up Server Pilot because I read about it from Brian Krogsgaard, and it took me 2 seconds. I launched the site and I got it up and running. I had these thoughts in my head already of how I would position the podcast, and I just got it up there. So my motto is I keep trying until I hit a good fit. I feel like I've been successful with that. There are ones that have failed, not failed, but sort of things that hit the back burner. WP Mentor is one of them. Get Julep is one of them. Julep was a huge undertaking, way more than I thought it would be in terms of developing this plugin. It's still there. We still play around with it every once in a while. But yeah, my motto is I'm going to keep trying these things and just keep doing it, because that's the only way I do best. Like, a lot of people like to go behind the scenes, get in their closets and like create this whole marketing promotional plan, do some segmentation, get their Facebook ads ready, get all their automation going, and spend boatloads of hours prepping and then launching. And maybe that works for them, but I'm sort of, I have a day job and my day job spills into my night job too. So when I try to do these things, I can only really do them on the fly dynamically, and it's the best fit for me.
Thanks for sharing that. No,
long-winded answer.
I appreciate the honesty there, and I can completely identify that. The issue though is that some of those, like you mentioned, Get Julep was a huge undertaking. Relatively speaking, you can launch a podcast. You can get that up and running off the ground with very little time investment, very little monetary investment, especially since you already have all the equipment, et cetera. So it's nice to be able to launch those things that don't take a ton of resources to get up and running. But like with Conductor and Get Julep, I mean, those are huge, huge cost in terms of the hours necessary to produce them.
Yeah, the production of it, the marketing of it, the Q&A of it, again, the product market fit of it, research of that. Product stuff is very difficult, right? And, like you said, the podcast stuff is, there are very few people who care as much about the WordPress space as we do, and even your listeners, right? Even if there are thousands of people listening to that, it's a flea on an elephant's rear end compared to how many people use WordPress and actually care about it as much as we do. So I'm very passionate about this stuff. I feel like the podcast stuff is just easier for me to do, really, at the end of the day.
Well, when you find something you like, go for it. I mean, it's sort of like podcasting. I don't know. I mean, this whole show started as an experiment, but I found out that I really love it. And some people have even suggested, why do the live show, especially since most of my listenership is not live. But I'm like, I like the energy of a live show. I like to be able to, get kind of that real-time feedback and questions. Anyways, I just wanted to turn that around so I could talk about myself a little bit. How did I do?
Yeah, I caught that. This is nothing new. I mean, hey, Matt, come on over here. I got some drink tickets. Oh, by the way.
It's part of my evil plot. Cool. So we can talk a little bit more about that. But I'm gonna let's pick another winner
Yep.
chicken dinner. And I don't think I said it earlier, my email address, but hello@officehours.fm. So if you're one of these winners, email me and let me know what prize you want. Okay, and next winner, drum roll, please. Francisco Ramirez in Germany.
Francisco,
Thank
come
you,
on down.
Francisco, for tuning into the show. You know what? That's another really interesting thing about this podcast. I think I have listeners on every continent, except for maybe Antarctica. I've never had a guest contact me from there. But anyways, just talking about myself again. Okay, so let me. That was an awkward on-air pause. See, this is probably why I shouldn't do a live show, so that I can edit that sort of stuff out, but I really can't. I can't help myself. Would like to thank some additional sponsors for the this ebook. But really, oh my gosh, I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on it and let me know what you think. But I've got Nick Davis from the Theme Valet, Brad Tusnard from Delicious Brains, Corey Ashton from Webtegrity, Dusty from Flywheel. Matt, you yourself were one of my sponsors. I've got Naomi from Gravity Plus, Mr. Lima, Tom McFarland from WP Elevation, Curtis McHale, Mark Benzakine, James from WP Ninja. I mean, the list goes on. I had like 25 people that helped pull together to fund the production of that ebook. So much appreciation there. So, okay, let's talk a little bit more about this business, this evolving business of yours.
Yes.
How do you, like, how much, once you put something out there, how long do you let it run before you say, this is not working, let's shut her down?
You know, it's funny. I've yet to really, I'm just trying to quickly think of anything that I've actually shut down. Well, yes, I can think of that. So we did a series of video. So our YouTube channel at Slocum Studio, when we started that, we were doing, and we did this before we actually launched product. You know, because back then everyone was saying like, hey, build this audience, have an audience first, launch a product, as if it were that easy. And so that's what we did. We started creating a whole series of shows. And I think I might have had said this before, but we did a Weekend WP podcast, which was all done everything was done on video, right? Way back in the day, we were a video studio. It's actually how we started, video and photography studio. It's how we started. So we have all this like high-end equipment, and we were doing all these like 1080p, like high-end production stuff, all the while trying to get client work done. And we had 3 shows. We had Weekend WP, Press This, and we had 4 shows. Sorry, Weekend WP, Press This, SEO Lunch, and Fresh Dev. Right. And Fresh Dev was all about WordPress development. Scott, my lead developer, and we did a whole series on plugin development. SEO Lunch was all about sort of these quick little SEO focused tutorials and information like, hey, Google launched Panda this week. And we sort of talked about that. Press This was all about a plugin comparison. Should I use Gravity Form? Should I use Contact Form 7? This goes way back. And then Weekend WP was really that sort of roundtable of WordPress news. That one got cut first because we were getting 0 feedback from our customers that we were offering themes to, and we were emailing these things to our client base locally too, as most of our clients back then were much more local. So they didn't really care about WordPress news. Like I mentioned before, like we're the 1% of these people who actually really care. And I kind of axed that. If I get some strong, hard feedback, to answer your question, if I get some strong, hard feedback, or I can really see that it's not working, I'll cut it out. WP Mentor is probably on that same verge where again, it was something that I launched, and it was one of those things where I felt like people would sort of gravitate towards it. And they did for a little while with the buzz around it. And I was just hoping that people would just sign up, say, hey, I need help learning this WordPress stuff. And people would contribute their time to teach people how to use this WordPress stuff. So that kind of just sits there. But I don't, if I find that hard feedback, I'll kill something off, for sure. How I sort of convince myself to do something and invest the time into do it, like Plugged In Radio. And there'll be a complimentary site alongside of that I'm not ready to announce yet. But Wunderlist, right? I get an idea like every other person on the planet. I write it down. And on my Wunderlist, I have a whole, list of ideas that pop up. And there will be times where I'm like, this idea, I'm not even going to write this idea down, right? And if it comes back to me again, then I'll write it down, right? So I feel like there's like this thing inside me that my gut check says, hey, if I think of it again, then I'm going to start writing it down. And if it's something where I'm constantly, I'm in the shower, I'm out for a run, or I'm working out at the gym, or I'm sleeping and I'm dreaming about this thing, then I'm going to really put some time into pursuing it. And sort of Plugged In Radio was that.
I like the way you validate ideas. If I think of it more than once.
Right. Listen, there's no science behind any of this stuff, right? I am willing to do it and fail and talk about it. And that's the only litmus test that I have. Contrary to a lot of other stuff that people say that you should do. Big time.
Is Wunderlist an app?
Wunderlist is an app. It's my favorite to do app. Hands down. It's cross-platform, mobile, super easy, super fast. I love it. Couldn't live without it.
Very cool. I will have to check that out. And you mentioned another tool earlier when you said I think you said you used it in your launch of the Plugged In Radio site.
Yes. It's a thing called WordPress.
No,
no, I'm just kidding. It's called Server Pilot. I literally just learned about it hours ago. Being a Post Status member. Ding! I do get that inside information when I can't find stuff. Brian Krosgaard tends to bring some stuff that I've never seen before to the surface, which is great. And it's just a quick way to set up a WordPress app, as they call it. They call it a WordPress app on top of DigitalOcean. I run my MattReport.com is powered by DigitalOcean, so I spun up another DigitalOcean instance and literally in minutes had my WordPress site up and running.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So sorry to sidetrack on that. I always like hearing new tools, what everybody's using.
Tune into Plugged In Radio and you'll find all the tools you need.
You do have that perfect radio voice. I would say you have a face for radio, but
is that Brad on the other side of the screen?
Just kidding. You're a handsome devil over there. So, we're talking about ideas that don't come to light, or even products that flop. I think there's a misconception out there that all these people that are hitting those home runs, that's their first at bat. And
right.
Wow, look at that wild success. When the reality is they've been doing what you're doing, chugging along, trying things out, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, learning along the way, throwing more stuff out there. And it's an iterative process that just takes time. And it's not, for those of you who are listening to the show, it's not overnight. There's lots of hustle involved, but I just think it's interesting that,
and that's
works that way.
Right. And that's why I say, like, there's a lot to do. A lot of the stuff in business is about confidence. And believe me, being the short, fat kid growing up in high school and in college days was never a spur of, confidence at all. Right. However, I grew up in car sales, and nothing grows more thick skin than walking out to somebody on a cold, wintry New England day, looking at a truck, and they say, "Get away from me, I'm all set," right? Because literally that's how these people in the Northeast act to one another, especially on the car lot, right? So you really begin to just grow a thick skin and understand that, look, this is how this person deals, you move on to the next person, right? So I really found that was a great soft skill to learn. Being rejected makes it a little bit easier. And that's why I say, like, there's no difference between me and all these other successful product people. They just found the right product. I'm still looking for the right product, right? But then you go back to say, how do you define success? What is success for somebody? Conductor is successful. It's still going. We still use it. We still R&D into it. Our themes, Same thing. So there are different levels of success. I think that people just need to find a little bit more confidence in whatever it is that they're looking at, right? And not be afraid to get out there and launch it. I remember like 8 years ago being on a webinar. It was the first webinar I ever purchased. It was the first internet marketer I ever discovered, was Chris Brogan, who happens to also be out of the Boston area. And he did a webinar. And this is when people were like, oh my God, I can buy a webinar for $69. Like, this is amazing. And he did a webinar and he showed how many people signed up. And at the time it was like $12,000 worth of people watching this webinar. This webinar was 45 minutes. And he showed the screen. He says, here's how much I made. I made $12,000. And he said, that's not bad. 1 hour for $12,000 based on 10 years of experience, right? Like 10 years of this cumulative experience built into this 1 hour. Because people in the chat were freaking out, like, oh my God, $12,000, right? And that's still, I still have not forgotten that, right? Like, there's all of this stuff that happens before that people don't see. And there's all of these struggles that people don't see, which Corey Miller depicts very nicely with the iceberg. So there's all this stuff in business that you have to be ready for. Not even, product, market, team aside, there's all this other stuff up here that has to be dealt with first.
Man, that's some solid gold right there. Sure. I'm not even going to turn it around and talk about myself. I'm just waiting for wisdom to come out of your mouth.
And the next winner is?
Well, let's pick one while we're at it. You already had a drum roll, and I hate to turn a drum roll down. Next winner is Beth Banner. You are in the United States of America. Thank you for entering the contest. Email me hello@officehours.fm to say which one you want. Man, I got to say the questions. It's Twitter is quiet. They're just like hanging on your every word, Matt.
Yeah, right. Let's go, people. #OfficeFM.
#OfficeFM. Get that done. Well, while we're waiting for those to come rolling in, excuse me, I will tell you a little bit more about our official show sponsors. We have got Secure WordPress. That's network solutions, fully managed solution for your WordPress needs. Some of the features include automatic updates for all your themes and plugins.
Automatic cupcakes.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Sorry to break your read.
No, I'm thinking automatic cupcakes. You know what? Put that in your wonder list. I have a business
idea. I'll tell you after the read.
Okay.
I'm telling you already. I have it written down. I pitched it to my brother. Go ahead.
Wow. Okay. Malware scanning, daily backups. They can do malware cleaning, protect you from DDoS attacks, all that good stuff. Check them out at getnetsold.com/officehours. And then we have got Tanya over at knowthecode.io. For those of you who have encountered Tanya, you know how brilliant she is. For those of you who haven't, Tanya has an engineering background and is just an amazing instructor. And Know the Code is a membership based site where you can learn from her to reverse engineer your code, really just know the code. Know the code. So check that out, knowthecode.io. All right, and now look at this. Questions are rolling in. Matt, when I say send your questions to #OfficeFM, everybody ignores me, but you say it and the channels start lighting up.
I don't know what it is. Not even going to make jokes at that one.
Okay. All
right, so here's the business idea. Speaking of automatic cupcakes, and maybe this already exists. It probably already does, right? Because, it's just, America, right? So the idea is to have a company that automatically sends birthday cakes to your customers or family members that you design. So you can design a birthday cake and these things just trigger off to your customers when it's their birthday. That's
why a custom cake and not
or a cupcake or a birthday cake?
No, I meant why custom versus
it would say like
birthday cake.
Happy birthday, Carrie, from pluggedinradio.com.
From your friends up north.
From your friends at Slocum Studio or whatever, right? That's the idea. Now, listen, there's plenty of things. Listen, I can start this right now. Based on the way that I launch products, I'm going to go bake a cake right now and mail it to somebody on their birthday. No FDA approval, no secure package.
I'm sending you my address right now.
All right.
Let's see. We have got, along those lines, Mark asked, you use some sort of a SWOT analysis before embarking on a new product?
No, I don't. And I should say that I've never launched a product that I didn't think I would ever use in my own business, or that my clients would find some success with, right? So themes, again, are a natural extension of what we already do. Obviously, we build WordPress websites. Conductor was a huge part of that and how we customize sites for clients. That became a product. Julep, really the only thing that I've ever played around with that I thought would be very interesting. I just would like it for my own personal use. It's just the investment of building a product like that. Lots of JavaScript. And, you know, Matt Report, something that I was super interested in. Plugged in Radio, something I'm interested in. There are very many schools of thought that say, go out, you know, do the market research, find the right fit, solve the problem that nobody else is solving, you know, like, tackle something in the insurance market, right? Or, you know, tackle something, you know, in, you know, soundproof enclosure markets. Like, what the hell is soundproof enclosures? We talked about that earlier before we started recording. Like, there's all these sort of dry markets that you can attack and approach and probably be way more successful than building something that you love. But I just don't have the brain cells to do that.
Well, maybe if you got all those ideas on paper and stopped just making them percolate in your brain, you could free up some.
Let me just see, while we're rolling here, I'll see how many on my future business list on my wonder list.
All right.
It's actually labeled someday is what it's called.
Someday. Well, Matt has a question. How do you get customers and traffic for a new business? And what are your initial strategies when you can't do all the things? 109
on the list.
Wow.
109. 96 blogging ideas. I think I've made 4 blog posts this year.
So Matt's question is very appropriate then, when you can't do everything.
Right. So again, my philosophy or my simple approach is, one, it's understanding that building the audience does take time. I think that the only other way to do it, like if anybody's looking for instant gratification, it's just throwing some money at Facebook ads. Really, I mean, hands down, you're not going to get a better price point for that property to get people to your site, or traffic, I should say. Especially video, by the way. Video, their ad dollars to promote video are super cheap right now because they want more videos than YouTube. But I've been lucky enough to be podcasting for 3 years. I've been lucky enough to be selling themes for 3 years. So I have a list that's accumulated. But in the beginning, I knew that I needed to launch a product someday. I needed to have a base, and that's when I started the podcast. I think anybody who's looking to grow a business, anybody who's looking to get into the product space, no matter what, so I hate to say it because it's so cliche, but it's blogging, podcasting, or creating some sort of video channel, whether that be on YouTube or Snapchat, engaging an audience somehow, some way. I just really can't think of any other way to do it because, look, platforms are closing, right? I wrote about this recently, and I say Facebook because you can just pay for traffic, much like you can pay Google for traffic. So those are avenues. You just have to spend a little bit of money, which could yield you some good results. I know plenty of WordPress product companies that are getting good results by paying for marketing or paying for advertising. But the more fun, more organic approach, turn on a microphone and hit record, turn on a video and hit record, camera and hit record. That's all I know.
I would agree with that. And I mean, the content marketing, that phrase is just kind of ridiculously overused, but it really is true. Giving away valuable stuff for free.
One other thing that I want to mention too, only because somebody had tweeted out my link with Clint Warren today, God rest his soul. But he was a master offline networker, right? So he would hold events at libraries and business chambers. And I think we're really going to start to see this sort of, hey, online, you can come and buy my course for $97. And we sort of go online and we learn about price anchoring. And like, you can buy my course, my ebook for $29. And all you get is the ebook. You can buy my course with 6 interviews for $97. And then you can buy me or my ebook in an hour of time for $2.99. Right? And you do this price anchoring thing and people, gravitate towards, well, I'll just pick up this ebook for $29 or I'll get this $97 option. But I think what that is also going to do is price anchor to real life, where now if Carrie has, or the person who asked the question has an audience offline, like in my co-working space, a lot of people know me now as the WordPress guy. Like now holding seminars or actually like paid training becomes even more valuable because you can get it from me in person versus just going to my website and buying me through Skype for $200 or whatever, right? So I think we're in a unique position now where people who look at us internet marketers or product sellers can actually get our stuff in person for more money, more value, right? Because we're there, we're live, we're showing them how to do these things. So I still think, and Clint was on point with this, he was a master at doing that stuff offline. I mean, he was holding his WordPress seminars for $300 a ticket, I think, like that, which was still too cheap because it was 2 weeks. It was 2 weekends, so 4 days. It was 2 weekends of training. It was $100 a day. It's cheap. So interesting times. So that's another way you can spin it.
Good stuff. Jackie has a question, I believe, for me. How has this show helped you in your business in making connections? And it's actually, wow, just kind of goes hand in hand with what you're talking about, but absolutely made some great connections and met a ton of people that I wouldn't, Jackie, yourself included, that really I met through this show. I also know that this show has helped facilitate connections between listeners, which makes me very, very happy. Anyhow, so yes, I don't know that it's tangibly, I don't know that I can measure exactly the impact, but I know it's certainly been a great platform for, talking about myself and over again.
I wrote about this for the announcement post that I have for the website that goes along with the podcast. And I said, like, hands down, the Matt Report, for me anyway, just like you said, you can't measure it. And I say that in this post. I say, don't even worry about measuring people, because business owners, again, I was a mentor in an accelerator company here. And one of the things is say, well, should we do a podcast? What's the ROI on getting your podcast? I'm like, look, if you think you're going to sit down and measure the analytics of this stuff, it's not going to happen, because I create a WordPress podcast. My audience is about that big. And the business that I've got from it, from people who found me there, are, well into the 6 figures from client work that I've received, not counting the products that people have purchased from me. But I can count the multiple clients that have spent $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in recurring web projects with us because they found me through the Matt Report. I'm not saying it's easy, right? And I'm not saying I just like, oh yeah, they just came to my site and handed me $40,000. But they validated my competency. They liked how I approach WordPress projects, and they ended up hiring us for multiple projects, right? I use that as an advantage when I'm negotiating with clients too. I talked about that at Pressnomics, right? People, I think we get to, complacent's not the word, but it's the only one coming to my head. Like we get this, like we self-doubt ourselves again, right? We're like, oh, I got this cute little podcast. You're not going to care about that. But to a client, like when I'm on a phone call with like tech savvy clients, people who tune into other podcasts, they're like, oh damn, like you've got over 100 episodes on iTunes. Like I can, like, you know what you're doing, right? 85-star reviews. It's amazing. #1 rated WordPress business podcast in the world.
Wait to slip that in on my show, Matt. That you're the #1 rated business podcast.
Again, confidence, people, confidence. Just want people to have confidence when they're dealing with customers.
All right. I need everyone who's listening live right now to go leave an iTunes review so that we can beat Matt by the end of the show. Good stuff. Good stuff there. You know what? Before we take another question, let's pick another winner. Winner, chicken dinner. And the winner is Jonathan Bossinger. You are a winner. Email me and let me know whether you would like the To the Top SEO course, the Know the Code Professional Plan, the Utility Pro Developer Badoo Hopper, the Amazon gift card, the Office Hours.fm swag, or there's one more. I'm leaving it out. Well, anyways, let me know which one you want. So question from Jackie, who always has excellent questions. She says, can you talk a little bit about the challenges of doing agency work and dealing with burnout?
Man, that's tough. Let's see. These are threads of thought that I've been actually trying to organize as well recently. And, investing in your portfolio. And again, I'm not somebody who, I say these things and it's very hard for me to take the time to take my own advice, right? But I do to some degree. And invest in your portfolio, knowing that you have to decide where you want to go, right? Like, I don't want to be 10 up. I don't want to be web dev. Too many people, too big of a client roster. I want to be a boutique agency that also does product. And what I try to do is I will take sometimes you take the $5,000, $8,000 website and it's like local Joe Schmo. They don't really get tech. This project ends up taking 120 days when normally it takes 45, right? And you just take those because you need to survive, right? I feel like, again, a lot of people are afraid to sort of talk about those things openly with people because it's not fun. It's not sexy. And, I'm like still trying to hit that home run, like I said. And you take these jobs to get by because you have to. And then you really fully invest when you land a good client. Like when you land the client that you most want to achieve, you highlight the hell out of that client, right? You take that client, you put it in your portfolio, you use them as your #1 referral when you talk to new clients. You ask them to refer other peers of theirs that they would recommend you to, right? So you can find them. You do that in your sales pitch, and you talk about them as a company. You talk about their culture and how you were able to align your agency with them. And that's sort of how I keep trying to move up the rungs. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's all I spend my time with, right? So we have a 6-figure project in the pipeline that we're working on right now. And we have a $3,000 website that we're working on right now. It is what it is. We've found a good cadence in relaying the expectations to these types of clients. So invest in that portfolio if you can. Really start to mature that with the stuff that you really feel most proud about, stuff that has the best synergy with your message, and really pitch and present that to your next clients. And ultimately people will find you. Now, again, back to the podcast stuff. There's a lot of referrals that I get from other larger agencies that are out there. So the more you make yourself visible, will also sort of help you find the best clients. I haven't answered the burnout thing because to me, the burnout happens when you're dealing with clients that you don't want to deal with, right? And that, for me anyway. And knowing when to cut off a client is also very important. So when you know things are just going to keep going south, and if you've been doing this for a few years, you know right off the bat when these things are going to happen. When they send you an RFP, I talked about this in WordCamp Miami. I received an RFP. Probably many of you listening to this received the same RFP. In the first 3 lines of this RFP, the customer stated that he would be doing an over-the-shoulder time management, right? Where
if that's not a red flag, I don't know what one is.
See ya, right?
Oh
see you later, bye, right? That's not going to fly with us. So being able to identify these red flags early on and not letting them really, run you ragged. But let me vent on something else super quick. I know we're pressed.
Bring it on.
I know we're pressed for time. There's this other craze going on, and I love a lot of people in the space of productized service. And I hear a lot of people talking about it. I love the idea. Love the idea. I just find it impossible to implement, right? Because what I find is, and again, I guess it depends on what your goals are for your company, what your expectations are for yourself as the business owner, as the person offering a productized service. But a lot of people say, you can alleviate client burnout and the variables of running an agency by doing productized service. Give them this service that you get these 5 bullet points, and that's all they get. They get nothing else, just those 5. Except the word service is still in your title, productized service. And people expect service at a different degree, right? And wherever they're coming from. So I hear other podcasters who are launching productized service, and they say like, oh, the biggest challenge for me is people start asking me other questions outside of my product offering. I don't want to support them with all these other things. So now I have to think about how I can't support them on, for $500 a month, right? I have to tell them I can't support them for $500 a month. So I have to spend all this time planning, prioritizing, automatizing, right? Doing all this stuff, outsourcing, VAing, so I can only narrow it down to these 5 services for this $500 a month. How about you just charge them $5,000, $50,000, right? And include the service that they want, right? This is agency life. You can't sneak through this agency life stuff. Clients need a degree of service, and that's what we're there for. So I say that because I don't want people going off and building these walls and telling clients, you can't move from this. This is a contractually driven agreement. That sucks. Right? That's boring. That doesn't give any life into a project. So I make it known to my clients that we do have a process, we do have rules, but I understand that at the end of the day, you're paying me. You want me to dance, I'll dance, right? I just won't dance too much if you're not paying me enough.
Because that could really knock you out of that #1 podcast position if you were dancing too much. That's correct. I like that rant. That's a good rant. I've always thought that productized service or consulting sounds glorious, sounds sexy, but for the life of me, either I lack the discipline or don't want to have the discipline to go through and define what every step of the process is and be able to hand that off to someone else to actually do the execution or the automation. Like that sounds like way too much work.
It's too much work. Yeah, it's too much work. And I guess it depends on what you're offering, but people that I listen to are doing like services on top of other implementations like Infusionsoft. And people are like saying, oh, I don't want to help these people in other parts of Infusionsoft. I just want to set up their campaign. I don't want to answer their questions about Infusionsoft. That's Infusionsoft's job, right? Back in the day, I used to say, one day I'm going to write a book that's titled Everybody Should Sell Cars. Right? Or everyone should be a car salesperson or salesman. I think everybody should take a walk in supporting a WordPress product, right? Because how many times do you and I and people who sell themes and plugins have to answer, why isn't the media gallery show? Why is this menu system? I don't understand. Like, how do you move things around the menu? How do I make a post? Listen, it's not my problem. That's WordPress problem, right? Why am I supporting that? I'd love to have to say, I don't support you with WordPress stuff. If I did that, I wouldn't have a company, right?
That's when I just send them over to WP 101.
That's true. You could do that too.
And I also, and then I close it with hashtag not my problem.
Yeah.
People love that. Good stuff. Jackie makes the comment. She says, seeing a lot of people who are in the services space are migrating over to teaching and coaching. Any thoughts on that?
Sorry, I was retweeting. Give me the answer. Give me the question again.
I do love your honesty. people who've been doing project work more and more are moving into, it seems like, the teaching or consulting space. Are you seeing that? What do you think about that trend?
Yeah. So I think, I think it makes total sense. I try to look at everything as, I don't feel like I'll ever get out of the service business because, again, like I said, I like the salesmanship of it. I know that sounds harsh to a lot of people, but I mean, there's a lot of good that comes out of that. If I can meet with a client and fully understand them, and we can both come to an agreement on, I will pay your company X amount of dollars because I like you, I like your approach, and you'll take care of me, then I can sign bigger and larger contracts. But the client gets better service. And I think it might have been you, Carrie, that talked about it or tweeted about it a couple of days ago or a couple of weeks ago. Where it's like, you don't walk into Apple, right, and say, give me a laptop for, $200. They don't sell $200 laptops, right? It's $1,000 or nothing, or $799, whatever. But there's a huge value in spending that money, right? Because when you need help with your laptop, you bring it right back. You don't put it in a box and send it to, Sony or Toshiba, whoever the hell makes laptops these days. Like, you don't do any of that stuff. You just walk into a shop, say, hello, you can actually set up your appointment on your phone, walk in, somebody takes care of you because you paid a premium. And I feel that agency work is the same way. Now, so I feel like I'll ever exit it. But I do think it's smart is if people start making multiple channels of revenue, because you never know when that's going to dry up. So at least in my mind, I will always keep multiple channels of revenue.
I agree heartily with that. 2015 was a big year for me in trying to implement some of those different revenue streams, and I'm very glad that I did. I'll continue to do that, but it is very nice to add some of that padding for when client work is you're in the inevitable dry spell.
Right.
Kelly would like to know, do you ask permission to add clients to your portfolio?
I do. It's in the contract that says that we can use their logo. And I forget the exact verbiage, but we can use their logo and talk about their project. It's a lot more legal than that. But yes, and very rarely, I think once, who is still a client today, said that we couldn't talk about the work that we do for them.
Top secret?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they think like everybody else, they send you an NDA and they're just like, don't tell anybody about this project. And you're like, oh, Facebook, I've seen this before. Right? Oh, you're trying to replicate Amazon. Big surprise.
All right, give me a drum roll. We're going to do another winner here. Winner, chicken dinner is Aaron Anderson. Congratulations, Aaron, on your tremendous win today. Email me to collect your prize. I'll email y'all too, but first come, first serve on the prize picks. We've got a few more minutes here together, so if you've got a question for Matt, go ahead and get that in. In the meantime, I wanted to follow up with an exciting thing on the horizon. I had really wanted to launch this today on episode 100, but time conspired against me. But I've talked with listeners in the past about community, if they would use a Slack channel or a Facebook group or that sort of thing. I'm in the process of rolling out a forum-based, an old school buddy press style, BB press style forum for officehours.fm listeners, and looking at also adding in some extra content that's only for people that are part of that community. But so stay tuned for that. If you're not already subscribed to the newsletter, go over to officehours.fm/subscribe. You'll get that ebook I was talking about and a set of ginseng knives. And if you call right now, you get 50% off of that free ebook.
I haven't heard that word in some time.
Sorry, I was just doing that read, and it felt like that's what I was thinking I was sounding like.
That's way better than my Tom McFarlane video on my subscribe page.
Oh, okay. So let us see if I have other questions or you, Matt, I know you're an opinionated fella from time to time. Is there anything we haven't touched on or ranted on that you just really need to get off your chest?
Let's see. I waited 7 months to get my theme approved or get my theme reviewed on WordPress.org. That's a touchy subject. Other than that, no, things are going splendid.
Is this a freemium style theme or what is it?
This is our Baton theme. It's the pro version's been out for December last year. It just works really well with Conductor or whatever, and we dropped in the free version to .org back in December, and it finally got picked up this week to get reviewed. So we're under that microscope right now. I'll let you know how we do.
Sweet. That's all you're going to say about that?
That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's all I'm going to say.
I know when to pick and choose my battles, and one of them's not one of them right now.
probably wise. Yeah. Well, on that note, let's just pick another winner.
Yes.
And
wait, how many products are you giving away?
I've got 6 total. So I've got 5. Wait, let me make sure. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got Gene Roth, Francisco Ramirez, Beth Banner, Jonathan Bossinger, and Aaron Anderson on the list so far. So let's go for the final winner chicken dinner. It is James, no last name.
Must be James Dahlman.
James with no last name. Yeah, if it was Dahlman, I'd just hit the disqualify button.
He doesn't know how to fill out a contact form. That's why.
Oh man. Okay. So we're coming up on the end of the episode. So if you will allow me, Matt, just a moment to gush over my listeners. Seriously, those of you who tune in live week after week, I love you. I love that you tune in live and interact and ask questions. That is awesome. For those of you who catch the show after the fact in your car or on your runs, whatever you're doing, I so appreciate that as well. Like seriously, if there weren't listeners, there would be no purpose for the podcast. So doing this has been an incredibly satisfying process for me personally, and hearing how the show has made impact on you guys that are faithful listeners. So I appreciate you. And with that, let's see.
And if I could just interject real quick, is I would say that for the listeners to share those stories and whatever benefits you've had from Office Hours.fm, because that's the stuff that really keeps us podcasters going. It's not just like cheeky, like, oh, give me a 5-star review. Like we have these same fears. Like, is anybody listening? Does anybody care? And not to get all NPR-ish, but if you could, donate, by just showing your appreciation, by subscribing to Carrie's email, especially for the new private membership, and sharing those stories, once the forums are open, that would be amazing, right? Because it really helps us keep this thing moving. So yeah, for sure. Good job. Congratulations. Because I remember when you first started and you were like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Where's the record button? And here we are, a century later, and it's amazing stuff that you've done.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate that plug there. Yeah, episode 1, I can't even watch it. I tried.
Oh God, yeah.
It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I made it through the first 3 minutes, I think, if that long.
Episode 1 for mine was me trying to replicate Andrew Warner of Mixergy, because that was the podcast person that I was, or the entrepreneur guy that I was listening to at the time. I still do. And it was just me, I can't even do it. Like the intro, and everything. I was trying to be exactly like them. And if you're thinking about doing a podcast, just don't replicate somebody. Just be who you are, because that's what people resonate to, which is why I have 3 listeners and Carrie has 30,000.
Hey, you're the one with all the reviews on iTunes. Well, actually, I think you just answered. Amber had a question that what's one thing you wish you had realized about podcasting before you started? And that sounds like good wisdom right there.
Yeah. Being who you are, not being afraid to be who you are. And seasonality would be another thing that I would love. I don't even know if that's a word.
It is now.
Seasonality, where I would roll out seasons much more sooner, especially for the way that the Matt Report is structured, or the content of Matt Report going through seasons, because I think businesses go through seasons as well, would definitely be something that I would approach.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because I forgot to mention it earlier. This episode end caps season 2 of Office Hours FM. So next week we'll be kicking it up with season 3.
We're already going into season 3 1 week later.
Well, I don't take breaks, Matt.
This is not The Walking Dead, is it? Man, usually I have to wait 17 months before we get to the new season, and they split it in the middle.
Oh, no, sir. I won't make you wait for the drama every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And with that, our time is up. So I'm going to go ahead and say so long. But Matt, I appreciate you. Always enjoy having you on the show, and thanks for your honesty and sharing your experience with everybody. And
thanks for having me.
Thanks for all you guys who tuned in, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.